Hello and welcome back to another episode of Garden in the Kitchen. I am Chef Silvia Dunnirvine.
And I am Anne Buckley.
Today we're outside
I can't
not
wait.
in the kitchen.
Yeah, this is amazing.
This is so exciting.
It's lovely to be out in the garden. It looks fantastic.
Thank you. So Garden in the Kitchen is about cooking seasonally. I love using the seasonal produce, fresh, either from the farmer's market or the ones that I grow myself. So for today's recipe, I thought we could start harvesting some radish and some cilantro because we'll be making churrasco steak with veggie kebabs.
Okay, Silvia, so can you tell us a little bit about the garden? I mean, the recipe sounds amazing. I want to have a little tour of your garden if I could, please.
Yes, absolutely. So right behind us, Anne, I have the late summer vegetables. That's our zucchini and summer squash. I have a couple of winter squash and cucumbers and some eggplant over here. And I know they look very small right now.
They look like they're quite contained.
But once they start to grow, they really take up all of the space.
Wow, that's incredible. And how long should that take? Like how long?
Within a month we should actually start. In fact, some of the zucchini are starting to grow here. So some you can actually see some baby zucchini.
Yes,
so
tiny.
Within a month, everything should really be ready to harvest.
Okay, and I love how this all looks so well established. This in particular is catching my interest. Tell me about this particular plant.
So that's more of an ornamental onion, and it does have a beautiful flower. The flower has seeds, and the seeds will fall and they will grow back on their own next year.
Great. So
they do help, the scent from the onion plant help to keep creatures away. So that's nice.
Good tip. So I'm just about to embark on my first vegetable garden.
Oh, that's
so
exciting.
That's a great tip. I shall make sure that I get some of those.
Yes.
What about over here? Take us through some of these vegetables.
Okay, so over here we have some carrots. I like to grow a little bit of everything.
Okay.
So we have carrots and some beets.
Okay.
Then some onions, actual onions here. We have a little bit of a garlic. Over here we have two beautiful broccoli plants.
Lovely.
Two broccoli.
They look very established.
They look very healthy.
Yes.
We have some celery.
Yes.
A lot of kale. I love kale, juicing, salad. So I have a lot of kale, some lettuce. And over here I have all of my herbs. We have chives and mint and rosemary, basil, cilantro. So no more buying herbs. And over here we have some spinach. I'm growing some green beans. And those beautiful plants over there are my snap peas, which are actually starting to grow. I can see some from here.
So if somebody like me was just starting out, what would you recommend as like something to get underway and feel like we're making progress before anything goes wrong?
So radish is fun and they grow easily. They usually don't have a lot of problems. Green beans.
Yes.
Usually the green beans on the vine, they're very easy to grow. So are the snap peas. I have to say, even you need a little bit more space.
Yes.
And you need some trellis, but they grow very easily too.
They look very pretty too.
Thank you.
So take us down to the radishes.
So we are ready to harvest some radish for our recipe. Come on up. We are back in the kitchen. We've got some amazing food and recipe to cook.
It was great to be out in that garden, Silvia, and to harvest the vegetables that we're going to use in our dish. So let's get cooking.
Let's get cooking. So today's recipe is the churrasco steak with veggie kebabs. And before we start cooking, I want to say a few words about churrasco. Yes,
please.
So that's the Brazilian word for barbecue.
Ah, okay, that makes sense now.
So if you get invited to a churrasco, you may be eating chicken, you may be eating steak or chicken hearts. So churrasco is the barbecue, and
Okay.
we definitely enjoy a good churrasco.
Okay.
And it's very easy, and it's something that I can show you. You can make at home. You don't have to go to a Brazilian steakhouse to enjoy a nice churrasco.
Excellent news. Okay.
Okay, so the recipe on the website calls for flat iron steak,
Okay.
but we can use any meat that we have in hand.
Okay.
In fact, I do mention this on the website.
Yes.
Skirt steak, picanha is a very well-known Brazilian cut.
Okay.
Today I'm using the ribeye steak, which
Okay.
is one of my favorites.
And the thickness of the steak, will that take different amounts of time for cooking?
Yes,
Okay.
it will. It will.
Okay.
So you just kind of play by ear.
Yes.
145 to 150 degrees is a good internal temperature for the meat.
Perfect.
So use your meat thermometer if you have any questions.
Yes.
And yes, if a thicker steak will take longer,
Yes.
a skirt steak
Yeah.
will take very few minutes.
Okay, perfect.
And for the Vegetable Kabobs, we're going to be using zucchini and summer squash and the beautiful radishes that we just harvested.
That we just picked in the garden. Perfect.
And then we'll
Ready
finish
to
the
go.
dish with a cilantro sauce, which is very similar to the chimichurri sauce.
Okay.
Very, very similar, only few ingredients, but it's cilantro based. And you know
Perfect.
I love cilantro.
I
so.
do, yes. That's coming
Okay.
through.
About the meat, I have marinated before. I suggest at least 30 minutes prior to cooking. And it's a simple marinade, just some garlic, black pepper, and sea salt. I do want to mention the salt because Brazilians use rock salt,
Yes.
which is literally little rocks.
Okay.
I find that's a little too rough. So
Okay.
sea salt is the perfect
The compromise between
compromise.
table
Yes,
salt
it's
and rock
delicious. So
salt.
it
Okay.
has this beautiful texture, flaky. It's very flaky.
Yes, I can
it's
see.
sea salt.
Yeah.
But this is what's going to make a big difference on a churrasco steak
Okay.
versus a regular barbecue steak.
Okay.
Okay, so I have all of my
Interesting.
ingredients here, and I wanted to add the salt last.
Okay.
So we'll do
Got
that just before we grill.
And some olive oil in there, is there?
Some olive oil. I've
Yes.
got pepper and garlic, and I'm just adding the salt right now.
Okay.
My grill is ready, and what I want to do is you either use a cooking spray,
Yes.
you can brush some oil.
Yes.
I'm just gonna add some butter
Okay.
on the grill so it doesn't stick, but
Perfect.
also it will add flavor. So just,
Nice and hot.
yep, nice and sizzling and hot, just the way
Okay.
we want.
So, whereas I noticed that you've not taken the steak from the fridge to prepare this dish. Does it need to be at room temperature for cooking?
Preferably, because
Okay.
you have to remember, steak is like a muscle.
Okay.
So if it's too cold, it would tighten
Okay.
when you add to the hot grill, and
Yes.
it won't be as juicy and tender.
Okay. That's
So
a
let
very
it
good
reach room temperature before you putting your steak on the grill.
tip. Okay. So how long would you say that it would need to come up to room temperature then for a steak of that size?
It really depends on your kitchen
Okay.
temperature. You know, if you have
Yeah,
your AC on,
obviously.
it's going to take longer.
Sure.
Generally 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yes. So while this steak is starting to cook, we're going to build our kebabs.
Excellent.
So I have one here for you.
Lovely. Thank you.
And one for me, and we're going to use some veggies.
Okay.
However way
So-
you like it.
Oh.
I love zucchini, and it's in season, and they're so fresh, and I grow some right in the garden.
Exactly.
Let me chop
you-
up some of
you
the
wanna-
radish for
That
both
would be
of
great.
us.
Thank you.
It's so fresh. We just harvest, and we washed.
So
Okay.
literally, garden to table. That could be the
Yes.
the next
Garden
big
to
thing.
table, farm
gonna
to
use
table,
this to
garden to table. Did you
come
get in
through.
okay?
I did. Yep.
Oh,
perfect.
Great.
And then we'll just
Put
go
our trash
another.
here. Add my radish. You were smart, Anne. This is the way to do it.
I think that certainly helped me.
There you go, and some more squash. Okay, so once we have
Lovely.
our kebab ready, Are you happy with your kebab?
You want some more on there?
Oh, this is great. No, however you like it. It's gonna be your
Bit of
side
extra.
veggie
Oh, fantastic.
dish. So once we're
Lots on
ready,
here.
we're going to season our kebabs with, this is just a simple mix of olive oil and oregano.
Okay.
Very simple, but I find that oregano adds great taste to all
Yes,
vegetables.
yes.
It's a safe one. So we've got oil and oregano here.
Yeah, that's a staple in our pantry as well.
I love oregano.
Yeah.
And then just a little pinch of sea salt
Okay.
and pepper. And then we'll put our kebab.
So the salt is for flavouring or for speed of cooking, or what is it? What are we helping to do by adding the salt in there?
And the
With the
beef,
veggies.
with the just for flavoring.
Just for flavouring, yes.
Just for flavoring, just a little.
So those that are not keen on it, they don't need to apply it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
they don't need to apply it. And I'm just gonna move our steak a little bit off to the side. I love that sound. Of
Yes.
steak on the grill.
We brought the barbecue inside today.
Oh, yes. No excuse not to cook barbecue,
No,
right?
exactly.
Yes. Okay, so while the steak's cooking, we're going to make our cilantro sauce.
Okay.
So for that, I'm going to use this tool, which every Brazilian household owns one of these.
Yes.
And I love it too because when you, oh, by the way, I have 3 garlic cloves here. We'll start
Okay.
with the garlic, but it's just fresh.
Right.
You know, it just adds the fresh flavor to the ingredients.
Okay.
So we just got 3 garlic cloves.
So this is a job that my children love to help me with
Yes.
because it means that they get to smash things.
Yes. Children will very much enjoy this, and
Yes.
it's safe.
Yes.
Just keep your fingers off.
Exactly. Yeah. Keep your fingers out the way.
Yes. So now we're going to take most of the cilantro that we just harvest
Okay.
and add it to our sauce, and
So
we're going
stems and leaves are going in.
to
Everything goes in.
goes
Perfect.
in. Yes. No wasting here.
No, that's nice and simple as well.
It's very simple and flavorful, and this is optional.
Okay.
You don't. The steak and the veggies will be flavorful enough.
Okay.
But if
So
you
it
want,
stand on its own, but if you wanted the sauce.
yes, you can. It's just an optional sauce.
Okay.
You can add on top of your steak. I have it on my website, and I thought
Okay.
we could just do it quickly.
And you can literally prep it while the steak is cooking.
Yes,
So that's
you can.
perfect.
Okay, so what we want to do here is just get into like a paste.
Okay, I can
And we're
see that
almost
that's
there.
starting to come. Do you want
We're
to?
almost there. Starting to come to a paste.
Yes.
Just a little bit of arm work here.
Yeah.
You can skip the gym today. No need to go to the gym.
Yeah, bit of muscle going into there. Yep, I can see that's coming along really nicely.
Yes, it is. And then we'll add our salt,
Mm-hmm.
pepper,
Okay.
more pepper than salt, and just a little pinch of red pepper flakes, just for
Okay.
heat.
Yes.
Okay, so we
Lovely.
just keep our arm work going.
Oh, I can smell the cooking coming through now.
It's delicious. I love this sauce. I actually add this sauce to a lot of vegetables and meats and chicken, and
Okay.
salmon. It's
Okay.
delicious.
Works with fish too.
Um,
Excellent.
I tried on swordfish. It was
Okay.
absolutely delicious.
Perfect. We eat a lot of salmon and often have lime and coriander with the salmon.
Yes. Okay, so I think we're good. We're just gonna add our olive oil, which I have it here. You can add a 1/4 cup or 2 tablespoons.
Okay.
It will just make it less thick if you add more.
Perfect.
And then I'll grab my tool. Now I'll show you the consistency, which is what we want to get to.
Okay.
See it?
Yes.
It's a very...
So it's quite sloppy.
Yes. It's like a sauce.
Yes.
Yeah. You just spread it onto your meat.
Lovely.
So this is what the cilantro sauce looks like. Very green, very flavorful.
Yes.
So now we'll check on our meat.
Okay.
It's been cooking for a few minutes, but not quite there. So based on the thickness of this steak, I'm
Yes.
assuming 8 minutes
Okay.
on each side.
On each side, okay.
You also have to remember I'm using an indoor grill, so it
Yes.
doesn't get as hot as an
Okay.
outdoor grill
Okay.
would. So timing, it's
Just
best
keep
to
an eye
check
on it.
the temperature. Yes. So in the meantime, we'll take a brief pause, and we'll come back to check on our meat. We are back, and our steak is fully cooked. Our veggies are cooked.
It smells delicious.
And it smells delicious, doesn't it?
It really does.
You can actually see the juices on the steak.
Yep.
So we're going to turn our grill off and carefully remove these guys. I don't want to lose all that juice that's sitting on top, so I'm going to do it very careful. And the thing about steaks, Anne, is that you can't cut them right away. You have to let them rest for 5 or 10 minutes if you have it. Cover with foil and let them rest. And what's going to happen is the juices that are out will get reabsorbed, and that's
even more flavor.
Yes, that's where you get all the flavor, all the beautiful juices.
Okay.
And that tender meat.
Can't
Let's
wait.
also remove our veggies carefully. They are nice and cooked. And zucchinis are great because you can't overcook them, you can't undercook them. They're just, you can eat them raw.
Yes,
People eat them.
yeah.
I have eaten them raw.
I've eaten them raw too,
hummus.
yeah.
So like, you can't undercook, you can't overcook. It's just perfect.
Versatile.
So we'll let our steak rest for
Okay.
5 minutes. We'll come back and
Okay.
we'll taste our
Look
meal.
forward to tasting.
Welcome back. We are ready to try our recipe.
Okay.
It smells great. I am hungry. Are you hungry?
I am, yes. And so the steak rested nicely, and I see that you've put some sauce on there already for us,
Yes.
Silvia.
So I already put some of that lovely cilantro sauce.
Perfect.
And now we're just gonna cut a few pieces. Look at that.
Oh, that's cooked perfectly.
Just nice and juicy.
And I
and
can
it's
see that it
nice and
has
tender.
reabsorbed all of those juices.
Yes, it has. And the nice
wonderful.
thing about the ribeye steak is that it has some fat and some meat, which adds flavor.
Okay.
There are some cuts that don't have as much fat.
Okay.
And, that's optional. Like I said, the recipe, you can use anything for the recipe. So we can trim some of that fat.
Okay. And I noticed that you cook the steak whole and then trim it rather than cooking it in strips.
Right, because the fat adds flavor to the meat, so you
Right.
don't want to remove it prior.
Okay.
Unless you have health concerns.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, I've sliced our meat and we can taste it.
Yes, I'd love to.
Yes. Actually, I should cut some.
This looks
smaller.
delicious. Mmm. Very tasty.
Do you like the cilantro sauce?
I do. It's really nicely cooked, and it's so juicy. All the flavors are coming through.
Yes, nice and tender.
Let's have a toast. We've got a nice rosé today.
Cheers.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And thank you for watching another episode of Garden in the Kitchen. I hope you have enjoyed today's recipe, and I will see you next month.